What's going on, everyone? IBG here, coach of the Houston Titans, back for my Week 4 match against King Krabby, coach of the St. Louis Krabby. The first last season, I managed to get a full victory against him, so we'll see how well I can do against him in this match. But here I brought Lone Muck, Tingroth, Salamence, Cobalion, Chandelure, and Galvantula. And looking at his team, it was really weird, especially with that Marowak, since I didn't know he was going to bring it ahead of time. He told me like later after the match that he had swapped Marowak out for Malamar, which was on his team previously, but he didn't get the trade until this week, and he made that trade around week 3 or week 2. But other than that, he had Tapu Lele, Mega Pinsir, Conkeldurr, Tyrantrum, somehow my mascot, and then what's his name? Necrozma. So I forgot about that. Anyways, let's get into the match and we'll see how it goes. So turn 1, I go off into Cobalion while he leads off with the Conkeldurr. I knew that Cobalion was a good lead since I'll be able to phase out with Volt Switch no matter on what anything. And if he brought in Marowak, I'd be able to set off rocks and he couldn't hit me with an Earthquake and he had to knock me down with something else. So turn 1, I go for the Volt Switch and I go into Tangrowth, which is my defensive wall. And he goes for Drain Punch, which does like around a quarter of my health. But he also receives the same damage back due to Rocky Helmet and some of his Flame Orb. So again, turn 2 and turn 3, he goes for Drain Punch again, trying to whittle me down, but then he ends up dying to Flame Orb Burn. I should write that down. Next he goes in his Pinsir, his Mega, and I decided to go into Salamence to get the Intimidate off, but looking at this return damage, I was like, there's no way I can take this thing down. It did over 2/3 of my health, and then he goes into Marowak here, while I go back into Cobalion. I decided to get my rocks up while he goes for the Stone Edge, trying to break down that balloon that was holding me up. Here I swap out and go to the Tangrowth, knowing that this thing can't touch me, and he sets up his own rocks. Next he goes into Necrozma, and I just knock off here knowing that his switch-in wouldn't be like a Pinsir after rocks. And knocked off his left notice. Here I didn't know what to switch into since Necrozma got a wide move pool. I know it gets Psychic, Psycho Cut, Earthquake, and a few other moves. And I was real scared what to bring in here, so I decided to go over to Galvantula, not knowing what else could go into, and I ended up sacking it off. That was a bad play on my part, because Sticky Glaze would have been a good part to get, especially against Tapu Lele or possibly a Scarf Tyrantrum, slowing it down. But here we go into Chandelure while he goes out into Marowak, trying to sack it off, I'm guessing against the Shadow Ball. It takes a Spadef drop, and I proceed to knock him out with the second Shadow Ball. Next he goes on Tapu Lele. I didn't know what to switch in here. Actually, I had one switch in here, which was Lola Marowak, because since it was Assault Vest, and Psychic would do nothing to me. And I knew he'd be able to switch out here, maybe because he respects the Scarf. So I proceed to Pursuit, and he goes out into Tyrantrum. This was the easy play on his part, because he goes to Dragon Edge, knowing that I can't touch him with anything on Alola Muck. He proceeds to Earthquake my Cobalion. And next, I bring out Tangrowth, which I know will be able to live a hit. He goes for the Head Smash, almost taking me out, but I go for the Earthquake, leaving him at a little chunk of health, but he ends up dying to his life form next turn with his Earthquake. Now we're at 3-3 at this point, and I'm looking like I'm taking the loss right here. He goes on Tapu Lele, while I send out Chandelure. I didn't expect him at this point to outspeed me, but it turns out he was Scarf as well, while I had Scarf Chandelure, and he knocks me out with Psychic. I was really surprised that he had brought Scarf Tapu Lele. Here we go into Muck, and let this be known that this was probably the most crucial turn within this battle. So right here in turn 19, he goes into Mega Pinsir, takes rock damage. Let me know that he takes half from this damage because he's bug and rock and flying type. Of course, he takes 50% health. Now, I go for the poison jab. Now, during this battle, I was not on computer. I was playing on mobile, so I was not able to damage count this. But I want you to know that I I went for Poison Jab over Rock Slide, which I had carried on my Alolan Mug, just because I didn't want to have that 10% chance to miss. But I want to look at this damage right here. Poison Jab does 39 to 45% health, and I missed out on the Poison Touch. So that was really bad on my part, or unlucky for me to get on my part, for that turn specifically, because after the Poison Jab, he doesn't even get poisoned after that, and he knocks me out with an Earthquake. It's better for me to go for the Rock Slide, because it would have definitely knocked him out, no doubt about it. And he wouldn't be able to touch me with Tapu Lele because it's Scarf and it has nothing to touch me. And then the Krozma probably wouldn't have been able to knock out Salamence either, because I had Ghost EMZ with Shadow Claw, which would have knocked him out. But he Earthquakes me here, and then I go to Salamence because it's my final one. And then he goes for Stone Edge. Oddly enough, he could have gone for any other move, but he decided to go that and Cyclops Pinsir. But he goes in Tapu Lele with the few health that he has and Moonblast me. Sadly enough, this is the first loss I've ever taken in WPCl history, and now everybody's been talking about it in chat, including himself, King Krabby himself, who I did battle. And it turns out from last season and this season, I had a total of 13 wins, going on a 13 win winning streak. And he was the one that's able to take me down throughout the season. This was a really good match. I just wish I played better with the Alolan Muck and went for Rock Slide, because that would have probably won me the game hands down. Because Necrozma or Tapu Lele couldn't have touched Alolan Muck, and if you send out Tapu Lele first and got knocked out, but if Necrozma had like Earthquake and knocked out Alolan Muck, I could have revenge killed with Ghost EMZ Shadow Claw and got that kill and possibly would have won. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Stay tuned for my week 5 team builder and post commentary match will be posted soon. Thank you and goodbye.